Peace. Welcome to the YouTube live book reading of The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh Anta. And I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel Riley. Peace and divine days and nights. I wanted to come on, make sure after all this work put in the last 2 days that I made sure come in and show love. Remember, we put love on top of everything, including reading books. The peaceful part of YouTube where we read books and learn from masters, and we pick up, wow, page 252. Yes. Making our way home. Page 252 in the 12th chapter, Reply to a Critic. Down at the bottom is where we're going to pick up at. I wish you all are having a wonderful day so far, and another great one is coming tomorrow. Happy summer, right? Yeah, we love the summer. We sure do. Especially in this part of the world, you know. The joy of imagining. The meditation today was so outstanding. We're going to have another one this evening. So stay tuned. I'll let you know which cloud we will be in tonight. So we pick up again on page 252 down at the bottom. Peace. Why were the Africans decivilized en route? Asked Marnie. Regression is also an historical sociological phenomenon that the specialist has a duty to explain whenever it is objectively detected. This is indeed pertinent here. Let us remain in the valley of the Nile, where the phenomenon is even more apparent. The current populations of that valley are rightly considered the authentic descendants of the ancient Egyptians. Yet those populations who never left their homeland have been decivilized on their own soil, losing all the ancient Egyptian wisdom and no longer able to read hieroglyphics as an invention of their ancestors. Why then is it astonishing that a population of immigrants should be in a similar situation? Top of page 253. How many times have we heard it said, if the blacks are descendants of the Egyptians, why haven't they persevered writing or preserved writing? On referring to my nation's Negre culture and l'Afrique Noire pre-colonial, one will see that the usage of writing never disappeared from Black Africa. What layman or Martian descending on Earth could have guessed that Greece is the distant mother of a modern American technique and of Western civilization in its most refined and profound aspects? Western Europe has experienced the same regression. During the Middle Ages, all the knowledge of antiquity took refuge in a few monasteries where it vegetated until the Carolingian Renaissance with Alcuin, 735 to 804. Techniques were lost, architectural know how in particular. Not only had they forgotten everything about an ancient science, they could not even erect the least complicated building. We can get an idea of this regression by comparing the Ptolemy, the map, Ptolemaic map, showing the geographical knowledge of antiquity with that of the Middle Ages of the same Mediterranean area. According to the satirical Latin poet Juvenal, who wrote during the 2nd century AD, the Egyptians themselves had retrogressed immeasurably. Even if we take into account the fact that Juvenal hated Orientals, especially Egyptians, it must be noted in his review of events dating from circa 127 AD. Egyptian society was already bending under the weight of totemic deities and retribalization as a consequence of uninterrupted colonization by Persians, Greeks, Romans. The country which had civilized the world was mm, 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 reverting to barbarism. If we are to believe Juvenal, Egypt, which under Queen Hatshepsut 18th dynasty had plowed the seas in high-decked ships, no longer knew how to sail anything but clay boats with tiny sails and a crouch over their short oars. Satire in the 15th chapter. Juvenal describes the bloody, fratricidal conflicts between two clans or tribes, the cities of Dendera and Hombos, with inimical totems. These conflicts allegedly ended in a cannibalistic scene that could only be described as a ritual orgy. Where did the black population go? When we expounded in Nations Negre et Culture, the thesis of Negro Sahara, we encountered considerably hostility from those who considered themselves experts on the subject. Today, with the recent discoveries of Henri Lotte, refutation is no longer possible. In the section of Nations Negre et Culture on the peopling of Africa from the Nile Valley, the route from Egypt to Southwest now assumes special significance. In fact, it passes just south of the Tassili in Eger, where Lode made the most important find of cave paintings of the century, after that of the Laco cave. This finding enables us to affirm that, contrary to the ideas imposed on the world by scholars for 150 years, Egyptian cultural influences spread for thousands of kilometers in the direction of Black Africa. Tassili and Eger was probably only one stop, located 3,000 kilometers, some 180 or 1,875 miles from the Nile Valley. Those paintings established an evident link between Egypt and the Sahara and the rest of Black Africa. It is certain that Nubia also was a great center for the diffusion of cultural influence from the Nile Valley, a kind of hinge between Egypt and other parts of Black Africa. All right, here we go with a passage. Let us point out that there are artificial mounds in the region of the Niger Delta, not pyramids. As the author thinks, we report this not because of any desire to disparage African values, but because a pyramid is a mass of well defined form, while the mounds are on a round or oval base and in a roughly hemispheric shape. The former are found especially in Egypt, Nubia, and Central America, the latter in Black Africa and Europe. See, this is awesome. Watch how Dr. Sheikh Anta drops this information for us. I know from experience that the Sir tombs called Mbanda were originally perfect cones. With time, the construction materials settle and the tomb takes the shape of a mound. The tombs of the ancient emperors of Ghana, as described by Arab authors, have become mounds. No one disputes that. The tombs of the Askia are veritable pyramids. But this question is really of secondary importance, for one cannot see how the essence of a pyramid, to speak in the Platonic sense, could be more noble than the essence of a cone. As for calling the signs of another passage, as for calling the signs engraved on the baobabs in durable hieroglyphics, the author is now back home and is familiar enough with the question, I suppose, to judge for himself whether writing is really involved, and oldest inhabitants can inform him, or whether, as seems likely, these are simply graffiti engraved on the soft bark. All right. This passage is so incredible because I love when Dr. Sheikh Anta interweaves his knowing and experience with these things to drive home the point. And so I'm just breathe with it because it's so powerful. All right. So we're going to the top of page 255. After I read this, I went back to the foot on of the baobab last year. Baobab tree is a massive, huge, oldest tree like in the world. It only grows over there. So this is key. I was quite disappointed because I hardly recognized the signs that I easily identified during my childhood. The bark of the baobab had developed since then. A little boy and girl passed by and enlightened me. They helped me to locate the signs, which, as a matter of fact, are riddles, ideograms, a kettle, a sword, a goat skin, a camel's foot, a string of prayer beads, and so on, memorializing the visit of a great religious leader of yesteryear, presumably the prophet. If Mani returns to the site one day, he will find no problem in being informed, as I was, about those signs. Their meaning is not yet lost. Mhm. See, people always, we got to stop this. A lot of people have to stop this. And I'm going to definitely say it. As you know, I say exactly what other people don't want to say sometimes, but stop generalizing with the term no one knows. And what you do is take that out, no one knows, and put in I don't know. I have no idea. My research hasn't gotten me that far yet. But just because you don't know, that doesn't mean no one knows. lives. And that's what a lot of these people do. They say, oh, no one knows how that got there. Oh, that's really? You want to stand on that? Or how about it's easier to stand on what you know? See, take the pride out of it. Be it's very easy to say the same thing as saying no one knows and say, man, I have no idea. I don't know. Oh, maybe you can enlighten me. I don't know enough of the subject. And people do this too much in this time and day. They think their imagination is stronger than the facts. And that's going to leave you frustrated because you're projecting onto other people saying, oh, they should know this, or they should see this, or get this. But just as well as there are good people in this world, there are very evil people in this world. There are bad people who want to trick you, who want to keep you in the dark. They don't want you to know the truth. So they'll lie to you, and they think it's funny. I don't think it's funny. That's why I read these books to you and keep it peaceful. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to know and be able to make your decision. But tricking people and trying to down people and play games and stuff, that's a vicious energy. That's a destructive energy. That's not a unifying energy. All right, page 255 now at the top. It is not writing in the phonetic sense of the word, but a series of drawings. The fact that this practice dates from the post Islamic epic tends to suggest that it reflects ancient habits about to disappear. On the baobab, along with the prayer beads, sword, and camel's foot, there was an inkstand and even a pen. So Arabic writing was known, but is absent from the bark of the baobab. This is similar to the attitude of the enjoyer, the Sultan of Cameroon, who, although a Muslim, utilized hieroglyphic writing, perhaps because of ancestral tradition, excluding Arabic characters to take a census of the population of his kingdom, to transcribe all the literature, the oral tradition, and the history of his country. Thank you for the likes and subs. We're pushing towards 700 subs on this peaceful part of YouTube where we read books and learn from masters. I'm Master Fitness Trainer Uriel Neville Riley. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. We're on my art. That's right. You gotta shine your light. Our art is a part of our superpower. And I always have the saying, and it'll be in the new book. Your art reveals the heart. Your art reveals your heart. There's no doubt about it. You know what your art is telling, but your heart is also transcribing your art. It's all in coordination. What is rather remarkable is that Marnie also visited the same doorbell area after the publication of Nations Negre et Culture and found there both the mounds and the same baobab tree with its mysterious signs. But he failed to remind the reader that the baobab of his article is the same one indicated in Nations Negre et culture. He could not have suspected its existence, but for data provided in that volume. Strangely enough, Marnie was able to criticize that passage of our book without mentioning the assistance he drew from it for his personal research. Thus, the uninformed reader picking up both texts separately would be compelled to think that the two absolutely distinct baobabs were involved. Moreover, Mauney entitled his article Discovery of dot ellipsis. What a strange scientific method for working on and elaborating documents intended to educate posterity. Hmm, that's very interesting. Yeah, you see it. You see that? My spirit energy is off the chain right now. Thus, the uninformed reader, picking up both texts separately, would be compelled to think that the two absolutely distinct baobabs were involved. Moreover, Mauney entitled his article Discovery of dot. What a strange scientific method for working on and elaborating documents intended to educate posterity. The layman must surely be taken by it. We'll pause right here. Divine days and nights. Thank you so much for reading with us. Yay! We got another reading in on this busy day. So much going on. It's a hot day too. So I want you to keep cool. Make sure you drink some water. We'll have a glass of love water in a second as well. Let me put this right here. Going in. That was the 56 reading. Wow. Amazing that we've made it this far, this fast too. Going at a great pace. Been only taking a couple days off here and there. So it's important to bring you to peace. Peaceful part of YouTube where we read books and learn from masters. Thank you so much for reading with us. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh and Diop. Yeah, when we reconvene, we're coming back into the 12th chapter. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. Highest heart love. Let's have a glass of love water. All our friends and family, as well as those solo returns, this summer's really doing it. So we show love to them, have a glass of love water, as well as to anyone that has elevated and transitioned. We send you off singing you love for your journey. We love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Chimes are going crazy right now. That's a divine sign. Yeah, we're shaking it up on YouTube. Read it balls, right? At another level, right? Much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shining light. All right. I will see you soon. Okay, so we're going to the indigo cloud this evening for restoration. We also will be singing the vows. Yeah, harmonic, vibrational singing, toning. Yeah. And also, we're going to be playing instruments too. So bring your instruments, whatever instruments you like. You got chimes, if you got uh, tongue pan, guitar, cymbals, whatever it is, a tambourine. Much love. Bring them on. We're coming to the indigo cloud and we're going to make some music, all right? Make some mantras with it as well. Yeah, much love and honor. Ay, 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 ay. Love, 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 love you, you, you. Ay, 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 ay. Love, 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 love you, 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 you. You know it. Because I love myself. I will see you soon. We'll reconvene. Hi, it's Hot Love. Peace, peace. No.